Hi, I'm Lauren, and today we'll be talking about what you should be packing in your hospital bag. You'll be needing 2 bags, one for yourself and one for your birth partner. Starting with the bag for yourself, the first most important thing to pack is your physical insurance card and other pre-admission paperwork. You don't want to be stuck there at the desk if you forgot those things, so it should be the first thing that you put into your bag. Next, toiletries. Definitely bring your toothbrush, toothpaste, shampoo, and conditioner. I also recommend bringing a travel size hair dryer. I hate going to sleep with my hair wet, and it was really difficult to find a hair dryer in the hospital, so I wish I just packed my travel size hair dryer so I could dry it quickly in my room. You'll also want to pack a full-size bath towel. For some reason at my hospital they only had hand towels, so when I finally did muster up enough energy to take a shower, I had to quickly dry it down with a tiny hand towel, so I wish I brought a bigger bath towel that I could kind of snuggle up in after my hard-earned shower. In terms of clothes, you might want to bring a comfy but cute robe if you don't want pictures of you only in the hospital gowns. I was so exhausted at that point I really didn't care, but if I did have more energy, I do wish I switched up my outfit a little bit more. In terms of what to wear going home, you'll probably be the size you were when you were 5 to 6 months pregnant, and I highly suggest wearing a dress. Especially if you give a vaginal delivery, your nether regions are pretty torn up, so the last thing you really want to do is pull on pants. You'll also want to pack some slippers, and I found flip-flops to be the easiest. I had slip-on shoes, and even those were too tough for me to put on. I just want something to quickly pop on when I went to the bathroom. And even though I was wearing slippers or flip-flops, I wish I brought socks because the hospital does get quite cold and I love to have my feet pretty toasty. In terms of atmosphere and making your birth experience a little bit nicer, I recommend bringing your own pillows and bringing them in a non-white pillowcase, preferably darker colors. 2 reasons for that. The first reason you want darker colors because there's so many fluids out there, you don't want to mess up your pillowcase. And the second reason is you want different pillowcase colors because it's much easier to say, hey, give me that dark blue pillow and put it behind my neck instead of trying to say, give me that one to the left, no, that one to the left more. So it's just easier to color code the ones and you would know immediately which ones you want behind your neck. Also, in terms of atmosphere, I would bring some pictures that you could focus on. My husband was so sweet and put together a video of our dog, and it sounds a little bit silly, but during labor and between pushes, I was able to focus on something that gave me joy by looking at the dog, and it did help take my mind off of things. So it doesn't have to be a video, but if it is pictures, make sure to bring some tape so you can tape it onto the wall. Other things to make the atmosphere more cozy and not so hospital-like, I recommend bringing some LED candles that are battery operated. Your hospital will probably most likely not allow you to have open flames, so make sure to stock up on the LED candles. Also bring some scarves. The scarves come in handy because you can put them on top of the monitors and block out some of the light, again kind of making it a little bit more cozy and an area that you would want to give birth in. If you really want to get ambitious, you could bring Christmas lights and string them up. Who doesn't love a Christmas lights? And that would be pretty special to have it in your delivery room. I didn't personally have it, but looking back, that's one thing I probably wish I did. The last thing in terms of environment that you might want to bring is some essential oils to try to get some of that hospital scent out. So I had I think it was a lemongrass or peppermint kind of scent, just to help me feel a little bit fresh as I was going through labor. Oh, and lastly, you'll want to put together a playlist of music that might be calming to you that you could listen to, or even more energetic if that's kind of the thing that pumps you up and helps you push. Other things you'll want to consider bringing are some snacks and drinks. I had gestational diabetes, so I had a very limited diet. So after I gave birth, I ate as many cookies as possible, stuffing it in my mouth. I don't know if that was a good idea, but that's what I wanted, so that's what I packed. I also brought some Gatorade because that's my drink of choice to really help restore some of my electrolytes. The last things I really highly recommend to bring in your bag are, of course, your electronics, something to help occupy the time, whether it be, an iPad, a book, or a game, because there is a lot of downtime when you're giving labor and your postpartum care, so make sure you have something to occupy yourself. On that note, also make sure to have your electric cords to charge everything, and I highly suggest purchasing a battery charger so that you can always make sure to charge your electronics. Some hospitals are using all of the electronic plugs, so you don't have anywhere to plug in your own electronics. So if you have your own charger, you're always able to make sure your electronics are properly charged. So that's all I really highly recommend for the Mama to Be bag. Next up is the partner bag. First and foremost, depending on your birth partner, mine was my husband. He's quite stinky, so I wanted to make sure he had his toiletries, his toothbrush, toothpaste, and especially his deodorant, so I didn't have to smell him the whole time that I was giving birth. In terms of clothing, you'll definitely want to have warmer clothes. As I said, the hospital does get kind of cold, so a comfy sweatshirt that they don't mind sleeping in. And if you want your birth partner to have skin-on-skin contact with the baby after it's born, I recommend bringing a button-up shirt, a very soft button-up shirt that they can easily unbutton quickly and have that direct skin-to-skin contact. You could also wear a zippered hoodie or something, but I was always kind of paranoid that it might scratch the baby, so I preferred that button-up shirt. They'll also want a few copies of your birth preferences. And there's so many different nurses and shift changes that you'll want at least 5, so you can make sure that your birth partner knows your preferences and is able to communicate them to the hospital staff. They'll also want to bring their own snacks because they're in the same situation as you. You don't want them really leaving you for long periods of time to find some food. And on that note, also bringing maybe some smaller bills in case the vending machine doesn't take credit cards. In terms of, one thing I forgot in clothes, they'll want to bring a swimsuit in case they want to go in the shower or tub with you. The hospital staff is fine with you being naked, the birthing mother, but not so hot on the idea of your birth partner also being naked in there. So make sure if you want them in there, they have a bathing suit that they can join you in. If you want them a camera so that they can capture photos during the birth and certainly after the baby is born, capturing those special moments are pivotal. And you might, the last thing I really recommend is when you're going on your hospital visit, check out what the sleeping situation is for your birth partner. I was lucky enough that my husband had a pull-out bed, so he was pretty comfortable, but my brother-in-law had a chair that didn't fully recline, so he was sadly in there for a week and had pretty bad back pain after it was all done. So if that's your case, I would think about bringing a sleeping pad, maybe even ask if you can bring an inflatable mattress so that your birth partner can have a pleasant experience as well. Lastly, you'll want to pack a few things for your baby to be. The first thing you definitely need is a car seat, and I highly recommend calling around your police departments and fire departments. I thought you could kind of just show up and there would be a specialist on site, but this is not the case. Not everyone has a car seat specialist, and even the ones that do are only there on a monthly basis. So make sure to call well in advance and have your car seat base installed correctly. When we went in for our appointment, I thought it would be a quick 10 minutes. We actually spent an hour with the specialist understanding the correct way to install the car seat. Also, things for babies, you might want to bring a small hat. The hospital might provide one, but it does get chilly, and Most of the heat in your baby's head does escape from your head, so you want to keep that warm. You might want to bring a few different onesies. Choose that one cute one. You want to always remember bringing them home in. Some blankets if it's cold, maybe some socks. And that's about it. Let me just check my notes. Yep. The hospital should be providing some diapers, but if you do want to bring some diapers, it doesn't hurt to throw a few newborn size in there. So that's everything I recommend for your hospital bag. I hope you found it helpful.